NFL, we talk about quarterbacks and their speed and accuracy, but there's still something about a guy slinging one downfield.
And I tell you from our broadcast booth, because we're pretty close to the 50, we have the best view, a bird's eye view of that.
But sometimes you just got to marvel at how these guys can throw the football. He gave that everything he had, and it was right on the money.
And he made that look effortless, didn't he? I mean, he's had a great game throwing the football. This is going to add to his yardage total in a big way. It's one thing to be accurate on your short and intermediate throws.
There's still something about a guy slinging one downfield.
And what was amazing to me was the fact he was able to get as much on the ball as he did because he was on the run.
Under their lead. And we didn't even get a chance to settle in for that drive. A quick strike of 75 yards, and they find the end zone.
Don't you get the sense that film study was behind this one, that they saw something that they thought they could take advantage of?
Off to a 13-0 first quarter lead. Good throw there, and I don't want to blow it too out of proportion, but he looks a lot more comfortable in his second season.
You can tell he put the work in the offseason, and what I mean...
Niners would extend their lead here just before halftime. Quite a show of arm strength right there. That was in the air for a long time, and it was on target, too.
And from where we sit, if you had told me that that ball was somehow going to get from point A to point B...
It looked almost to be a case of, a quarterback saying, hey, I'm going to throw this as far as I can and hope you run under it. Mission accomplished.
And from where we sit, if you had told me that that ball was somehow going to get from point A to point B, I would have told you no way. I mean, that was an absolute...
Much at the snap. That jet sweep turned into a big play in a hurry.
And how about how they ran the play? Because they obviously caught the defense out of position and not expecting that one, and that turned into a nice chunk of yardage. But how about the execution on the handoff? Most of the time...
Well, we've talked about it before. This jet sweep, something a lot of teams like to run nowadays, and this one winds up in the end zone.
And it is all...
Point of tying this thing up. In today's NFL, we talk about quarterbacks and their speed and accuracy, but there's still something about a guy slinging one downfield.
And we knew...
Yeah, I tell you what, Charles, I know that you don't put a ton of stock into power rankings and things of that nature, but another score here, and 2 weeks into the season, this is maybe the most impressive. Tying this thing up. And that looked almost to be a case of, a quarterback saying, hey, I'm going to throw this as far as I can and hope you run under it. Mission accomplished.
I'm really not sure what was more impressive about that throw. Was it
all smiles right now on that sideline, isn't it?
As well there should be. It's hard to win a game in the NFL. We hear it all the time. We know that it's difficult. But guess who's smiling? Match is just going to add to his total. Certainly not resting on his laurels. He's trying to continue to gain as many yards as possible and continue this big season. If you did know it, it won't surprise you to find out that this team leads the league in scoring. They've been a quick strike team all season long. There's another example. They did it again. This offensive coordinator, right now, you can write his ticket towards being a head coach.
Able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. But sometimes you just got to marvel at how these guys can throw the football. He gave that everything he had, and it was right on the money.
And I'm telling you, nothing will light up a crowd more than a play like that. Here in the stadium, all on football. How about the offensive line on that snap? They took care of business.
Absolutely, and when he can stay in the pocket like that, you're going to get big plays like we just saw. Get him the football any way that you can, and here it's in the run game.
And that was an example of catching a team off guard because it really paid off for them. They weren't ready for that at all. I know they weren't ready to try and catch him because